Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage, filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not into that or weird stuff in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our Tom fondly. Why, hello my little babies. I'm so excited because in today's video, we're gonna be talking about the new collection from Game Beauty. Out of nowhere, Game Beauty said, bam bitch. I don't know, that was a little Emerald Lagasse, but they said, bam, you want a palette? Well, here's 5. So these 5 monochromatic palettes actually pair with their existing highlighters that come with the same name, except these are called the Elemental Blast, as opposed to the Elemental Pearl. It's adorable and also kind of sexy. But before I show you the looks that I created with these palettes and give you my overall thoughts on them, I do want to say a special thank you to Game Beauty for partnering in today's video. Thank you. I love you, Dad. And of course, if you're ever interested in wanting to check out anything from Game Beauty, my code is garbage. You can save some money off your order. Anywhoosies, let me tell you a little bit about these palettes. Create your most magical looks with our Elemental Blast bundle. Show up your creative spirit with this fun and fantastical palette bundle that includes a high-performance duochrome and multi-chrome shadows. Blast your way through your makeup routine with these versatile and easy-to-blend products and leave your friends in awe. Let's get blasting. So if you were interested in the whole bundle, that's about $116. However, if you were interested in single palettes, they range from anywhere from $20 to $28. So let's start with palette number 1. Pyro retails for $22. This palette consists of 5 mattes, 2 shimmers, and 1 duochrome. Cryo. Cryo retails for $20. This palette is the cheapest out of the collection because it consists of only 6 mattes and 3 shimmer shades. Geo. This retails for $25, and the reason for that is the inclusion of a multichrome. But again, same configuration of 6 mattes, 2 shimmers, and 1 multichrome. The 4th palette is Dendro. Dendro retails for $25. This palette has not only a multichrome, but a duochrome as well. So again, you get 6 mattes, 1 shimmer, 1 multichrome, and 1 duochrome. And last but certainly not least, we have Electro, which will retail for $28, the most expensive palette. But again, 6 mattes, 1 shimmer, 1 multichrome, and 1 duochrome. You know, when I started to think about the structure of this video, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should break it down by palette, because usually when there is huge collections like this, there are differences between the palettes. But that's not the case here. I know, I can't fucking believe it, but there's actually no differences between the palettes other than the inclusion of special shades in certain palettes. Everything has been consistent across the board. Again, I'll repeat because I feel like it bears repeating. There are no issues. Honestly, you would think one of them needs a little bit of help, but that's not the case here. Let's start with the outside packaging first. These are cute. They're very simple. They're very much in line with their highlighters. They're nice, like sturdy cardboard packaging. Do I wish there was a mirror? Sure, but it's not the end of the world. I think with the fact that their price points are where they're at, I'm fine with not having a mirror. Now, when it comes to their highlighters are fine. They're not my favorite thing from the brand, but I do like that that line is growing with the inclusion of these palettes. It makes me wonder if there's gonna be something else in the future, and I'm curious, but I don't know anything. What I really also enjoy about these palettes is that they are fairly and reasonably priced. Meaning, if one of the palettes, like for example, Cryo, which has no unique shades, it's strictly just mattes and shimmers, this is the cheapest one. This is going to cost you $20. As opposed to, say, the one that kind of has all the bells and whistles, Electro, yes, has a 6 mattes, but you do have a duochrome and a multichrome. So at least all the palettes are not the same across the board. I know some brands do that. It's very shady, very shitty. So I'm happy to see that these are fairly priced. Now, in today's video, I'm going to show you 5 different looks that I created. Of course, the look that I created today, I didn't record because, you know, I fucked up, but but it's very, very beautiful. Pretty much just using the Dendro palette with a little bit of the Geo palette. It's just, they're so good. As I've tried each palette and played with them for a little bit now, I sincerely didn't notice any difference between the palettes. Well, you do have some shades that are incredibly pigmented, like the Cryo palette. These blues, I was actually kind of shocked how like bam, pigment in your face. But there were some palettes though that did require a little bit of building up. It's not the end of the world, but once you added a couple of layers, it did have full opacity. So that was the case with this Electro palette, which I make exceptions for, especially with purples, because purples are very, very difficult to make. So in particular, like this shade, Stormborn, this was the one where I felt like, okay, I had to kind of go in a couple of times, but once I did, I was like, bam, okay, motherfucker's purple. I found the mattes to be buttery and smooth, and I experienced no patchiness or no lifting, no balding, no unnecessary bullshit. And the longevity was terrific. Usually when it comes to bright colors on my little pumpkin ass, when it comes to brighter colors, sometimes I'll notice some fading or some balding throughout the day. No, these were fine. These were perfect. There was one day that I was working at least like 10 hours and I had the electro palette on and I was motherfucking purple. I was a purple people eater the whole day. It was adorable. So the longevity for me are terrific. When blending, nothing appeared to be messy or muddy. The colors were able to stand on their own, creating really beautiful gradients. And I'm happy to see that there were more mattes in these palette because I'm a sucker for a matte. I really am. Well, I do love an alien slut shimmer. There is something super lovely and understated about an all matte look. And now that we're in fall, I just love doing all matte looks. Even though outside is still 90. In my heart, it's 50. And I think for me, my favorite part about these palettes were the mattes. Their mattes are really good. Yes, some of the palettes did have a little bit of fallout, like for example, Cryo, the blues were a little bit messy. So much so that if I did have a full base on, like it's definitely gonna leave a mark. But then you have something like Geo, which I didn't experience that at all. So I think obviously the stronger the pigment is, or like the much more like brighter the pigment is, there is a better chance that there might be a little bit of bukkake that goes on your face. But it's okay though. Just do your base last. It's fine. Of course, the shimmers are great too. The actual shimmer and duochrome shades, I found that there was barely any glitter bukkake. It's actually very, very impressive. They adhered to glitter glue and I didn't notice any cracking, any fading, any flaking. There was no spicy butthole or any sort of weird wrinkly ball sack textures that sometimes happens when you're using shimmer shades and glitter glue. Now, the multichromes were nice. Are they my favorite multichrome? No, but they were good. They did require a little bit of building up, but you were able to see the shift. I think that's the thing that kind of honestly annoys the hell out of me when it comes to multichrome. Sometimes in palettes it's like, yes, the multichrome is being added, that's awesome, but sometimes the multichrome is like, this is not a multichrome, what the hell is this? This is a glorified shimmer. That's not the case here. You do see the shift. It's definitely more on the sparklier side, so you are going to get a little bit of glitter bukkake, especially with the electro palette. The Kyber shade, it is a sparkly bitch. She's a beautiful bitch, but she's a sparkly bitch. So I did notice a little bit of like beef cheese crumbles going down my face a little bit, and again, kind of a little bit difficult to clean when you wipe it away, but overall, who gives a shit when you can actually see the shift? And the shift is motherfucking breathtaking. So much like the mattes, the longevity on these guys are really, really good as well. And overall, again, I didn't have any issues. This was a pleasurable experience. Sounds weird when I say it like that, but it really was. In ways, these kind of remind me of like the ColourPop monochromatic palettes that came out a few years ago, except these are way more refined. Instead of plaguing us with bullshit pressed glitters, they've been upgraded with the duochrome and a multichrome and a much better formula to boot. I love these color stories, and I do feel like there's nothing that I would change except when it comes to the Pyro palette. This is a very pretty red palette. However, this is the darkest shade in the palette, Hellfire. And in my opinion, it's not that dark. I'm able to kind of get a little bit of dimension, but I still want more. So if I could do anything about these palettes, like any little thing, I'd probably replace Hellfire, maybe like an ox blood color, because I feel like that would just pair perfectly with this palette. You know, since they are monochromatic, you know, some of the shades, when you look at them, you're like, oh, okay, there might be some overlap, but I'm happy to say that's not the case, especially when thinking about the Cryo palette, like Avalanche and Twilight Frost. They kind of look a little similar, but on the eye, you could definitely see the difference between the two. And again, I cannot stress enough the beautiful gradients that emerge when blending. Like, oh my God, this palette, the Geo palette, the basic bitch of the bunch. I'm obsessed with this palette. And that Magna shade, oh bitch, it's so nice. It's so good. It's such a beautiful multichrome. It has that like beautiful, like dirty money feel. Oh, so good. For monochromatic palettes, I feel like there is a lot of variety here in terms of looks. It doesn't feel like a one-trick pony where you're going to be making the same look over and over and over again. There's a lot of variety in these little guys. But if you were interested in picking up the complete bundle, obviously it's a little bit of everything. And I just love how these palettes pair so well together. Like Dendro and Electro, obviously green and purple are just, they're like best friends. And pairing some of the purple shimmers with the green, they're so pretty. Of course, I feel like the staple in all of these palettes is Geo. Geo is the basic bitch of the bunch. She's everything that you need. She's your liner shades. She is your transition shades. She has the fun little multi-chrome because it's like Anne with a twist. And you have this really beautiful like marigold, like yellow orange shade. It's gorgeous. Of course, you have your fiery Pyro palette. A lot of pretty oranges and corals in this one. And then of course, if you're looking for like an icy bitch blue moment that'll be perfect for the winter, you have Cryo, which is just so fucking good. That said, being that this is October and it is Libra season and my birthday month, just saying, I figured why not stress myself out with indecision and rank these babies in the order of who I think would reign supreme. Now granted, I think all 5 of them together is motherfucking perfection, but say maybe you only wanted 1 or 2. Let me tell you which ones I think. And I say that now with all the confidence in the world, but I know it's going to crash and burn in about 3 minutes. Let me tell you which one I think should reign supreme. I'm gonna start off with number 5. I definitely like the Pyro palette. I think the Pyro palette is fun. She's sassy. She's a very beautiful duochrome of Sparks and Splash, which is absolutely stunning. If you have blue eyes, this is a motherfucking must, okay? Your eyes are going to pop. I forget how much I love orange eyeshadow, honestly, until I was like playing with this palette and I was like, oh, this is so good. But for me, the reason why, again, it's number 5 is what I said before. I think what this lacks is that there needs to be like a little bit of a deeper shade in here. Beyond that, it's all systems go. Now I feel like I'm regretting this. So I'm like, damn it, man, these are fucking pretty. Okay, no, I stand corrected. I love it. I love it. I would love it more if it had a little bit of a deeper matte shade in there. But I have to say this is number 5. Number 5. Okay. Done. Okay, hold on. Okay. This is hard. Okay. When it comes to number 4, I feel like I have to give it to Cryo. And the only reason for that is that blue eyeshadow is very specific, right? And there is a time and a place for blue eyeshadow. Usually when you're trying to look like a bitch, you want to demand everybody's attention, as well as trying to look like your best Mimi Bobek. I do love a good blue eyeshadow. It's very much like sitting on the floor of a casino, and I could pair this with a very nice bright ass pink lipstick, and I could be smoking my Virginia Slims, talking about how my 4th husband is mysteriously missing. So I like that. I love that. I embody that with this palette. But for me, the reason why this is number 4 is that while I do love all the mattes, and dare I say it is my favorite thing, there is something that is really nice about the other palettes having the addition of a multichrome or a duochrome that just gives it that much more of an edge. But if you're looking for like a fucking solid all blue palette, you're not gonna be disappointed. You're not. And the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this should be higher on the list. God damn it. Okay. No, number 4. This is number 4. This is number 4. Number 4, that hurt my soul. I do love a good cosplay moment. I really do. We need to bring back more blue eyeshadow, okay? More blue eyeshadow. Anyway. Oh, see, this is hard. This is hard because I want this to be higher. I want this to be higher, but I feel like the other 2 palettes are a little bit more special. Okay, so the next one is going to be Geo. I love this fucking palette. I love this palette because I feel like when I look at it, I get inspired to just make all matte looks with it. There is just something about the browns, the basicness, the Anne in me, and yes, my birthday is coming up soon. This is calling to me. This is the palette that I feel like a lot of people are just gonna be reaching for time and time again because of how much a staple this is. This is a very neutral Nelly palette. You do have your pop of gold, which is such a pretty warm gold shade. You do have that Magna shade, which, bitch, it's so nice. It's so nice. But I feel like you're definitely gonna get a lot of use out of it because if you're looking for like a transition shade, for example, or if you're looking at any of these mattes to be like a liner, like this is kind of like the perfect catch-all. It's a little bit of everything. Yes, she's neutral, but she's timeless. And when I see a palette like this, it's like, oh God, this fucking brings me weak to my knees. Ugh, I don't know. Just, I love that there's some warmth. I love that there's some cool moments in here. Both Terra and Petrified are great shades if you ever feel like you might be in a jam and you need to kind of like soften an edge out. Like this is, I hate that this is number 3 because it should be higher. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. But this is just so good. She's so good. And that marigold orange yellow, I never know the fucking name of it, but that bright like sunflower color, bitch, it's incredibly pigmented and just looks so good in the crease. But yes, out of all the looks that I created in today's video, this is the one that was like my all matte. As much as I wanted to jump in and use that Magna shade, which I have done on its own and it's fucking stunning, I really love that it's like an all matte moment for me here. And it's so good. And I found that this was incredibly helpful, especially when using the Pyro, because this at least had that dark brown color that kind of worked for the Pyro one as like a liner shade. So like, I love it. It's number 3. I hate it. It's making me sad because it should be higher, but the other 2 palettes are more special. Okay, number 3. Number 2. This is really, really, really hard. This is really hard. Okay, this is, all right. It like hurts my soul. This is number 2. I love this palette. This is a fucking solid palette. I love that the purples are not patchy. That is unheard of. Usually when it comes to purple, they're usually patchy or balding or some kind of bullshit where I feel like I have a harsh line that I don't know how to blend out and it just drives me motherfucking bananas. That is not the case here. Yes, I had to build up this one a little bit, Stormborn, but beyond that, once I built it up and it became its full opacity, it was like, who the fuck cares that it took me an extra couple of layers? It doesn't matter. This is just so special between Stormborn and then using Shockwave and adding Vile Plasma and like I could keep going, like, oh, this should be number one. But it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not number one. It's not number one. This has everything you need. You have your lighter purples, again, if you need to blend something out, if it does look a little bit too dark and you wanted to have a little bit more of like a lighter edge. These darker purple shades not only work well in the outer corner, but work amazing as a liner shade. And these fucking shimmers, you have a duochrome, you have a multichrome, and you have a regular shimmer, and each one of them are just so perfect and they pair so well. They pair so well. I would say the multichrome in this one is definitely by far the best multichrome out of the palettes that have multichromes in it, because it's definitely the most opaque, but it does have some glitter reflex, so that's the only thing. But oh my god, the fucking duochrome, there's something about an icy lavender that is just it just soothes the soul, you know what I mean? Even the normal run-of-the-mill purple shimmer, I just love the coolness of it. This palette should be number one. What am I doing? This has to be no, this is number one. This is number one. This is number one. I love this palette too. No, god, no, it can't be number one. It can't be number one, but it is though. It's so good. It's a little bit of everything. You get 6 amazing fucking mattes. You get one of each sort of shimmer shade possible. It's $28. It's so fucking priced well. It's such a good color story. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Number one, but it's not. It's number two. Tricked ya, it's number two. As much as that pains my soul, this is kind of like, if it was like a rating of out of 10, this would be like a 9.9. Okay, would be a 9.9. Only because I'm a slut for greens. I really am. And it's so hard to find like a really nice monochromatic green palette that just makes fucking sense. And this makes sense. I love everything about it. I love that the Seed Flare shade is like an actual proper chartreuse shade. Usually my problem with those shades is that they lean too yellow and then it just makes everything look like baby diarrhea. That is not the case here. There's no baby shit in this palette. This is truly like a beautiful chartreuse shade. And the longevity is fucking fantastic. Usually when it comes to those neon bright shades, they don't really last very long. This one lasts incredibly long. You do get a multichrome, which the multichrome, it is that mutant green that I love so much. She's a bitch. She's beautiful. She demands and commands your attention, and I love it. I love this Kelly green. I love this little lime green. I love this fucking teal color, which this is what I have all over my eyes today. Actually, between, I think it's called Zonite and Snake Eater. That's what I have on my face today, with a little bit of Luminescent Spore, which this duochrome is fucking bananas because it has that really beautiful like lime green kind of white flip to it. This is such a beautiful color combination. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of a little bit of like what I wanted from the ColourPop green monochromatic palettes, except it's just done so much fucking better. Honestly, I'm so happy that, that these fucking palettes exist and are kind of bringing back the little monochromatic moment, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, like these are just so fucking well done. But ultimately, this is number one for me because I know that I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. I love green eyeshadow. I love it a bunch. And green is not for the faint of heart. This is everything. This is so good. This is so good. Oh my God. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So yeah, so I definitely think, bitch, if you had to really get 2 palettes, I would say, if I really had to boil it down to 3, like, listen, end of the world, the volcano, Tommy Lee Jones, it's exploding. What am I gonna do? What am I grabbing? Which I don't know why it would just be Game Beauty palettes, but say I'm grabbing only Game Beauty palettes. I think I would definitely grab these 2, but then I would somehow try to smuggle this under a fat roll, okay? That's how much oh God, I love these. But then I feel bad because these babies need to come too. I have plenty of rolls. I can just shove them under things. That's fine. I'm taking the whole collection with me. That's it. Okay, that hurt my soul. but it had to be done. It had to be done. These palettes are fucking awesome. They're fantastic. I love playing with them. I can't wait to take this look off, just go ham and go play around with some more. These have exceeded my expectation. I adore Game Beauty. I've always enjoyed their palettes in the past. I have to say that these are probably some of my favorite ones. I've always enjoyed their longer palettes, right? Because they always had some interesting finishes and mixes and just really beautiful color stories, but I'm just a fucking sucker for monochromatic, and these just all work together so well. So yes, if you are interested in checking out these palettes, I totally invite you to do so. If you want to save a little bit of money, use the code garbage, or use your favorite influencer's code, whatever you want to do, my dear. But again, I want to say thank you so much for Game Beauty for partnering with me today. And listen, I fucking love you. Keep up this energy, and we will just be best friends forever. Anyway, now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know down below if you were interested in picking up these palettes. If you have, did you receive them? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let me know, because I love hearing from you. And of course, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. It's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, whatever the hell that is. And of course, my beautiful, wonderful patron and YouTube members, thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, trashy, really filthy, really gross, really nasty garbage boat afloat. I couldn't do without you. I love your adorable little delicious faces, and I just want to gobble you all up so you live inside my belly, and we can be one, and we can have the best time ever. If you want to know what is currently on my face, everything you need to know will be listed in the description box down below, and I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.